Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And as you can see, we've got a little Herbert, sat there in the grapevines, bless him, on what is an absolutely glorious morning. We've got a little bit of haze. I'm actually looking through my viewfinder and thinking, it's not looking good through my viewfinder, but trust me, the weather is absolutely glorious today. I hope you're having a lovely time. Just been looking at the results of yesterday's local elections in the UK, and I think Labour, we can honestly say, is now dead in the water with Keir Starmer. Hartlepool, there was a local by-election there, and in that local, that was an election for Parliament there. Yeah, it was a by-election, yeah. Hartlepool, resounding destruction of the Labour Party there in Hartlepool as they all voted for a Tory. So again, it's looking interesting at the moment, and hopefully today we should get the results of what's happening in regards to what's going to happen with our season as well. So we're looking forward to that. But anyway, that's the look of today. In actual fact, on the screen, it's not looking good. But in reality, it's looking fantastic. And little Herbie, he's down there playing on the grapes. Bless him. Look at him. Oh, he's gorgeous. Anyway, right. So there you go. That's a look around the back of the house. There's a lot to talk about this morning in the news. Quickly, I'm a bit worried about upstairs at the moment. It looks like they're washing down the verandas at the moment. And hopefully they're going to tell us they're going to be... in fact, it sounds like she's got a washing machine, not washing machine going, vacuum cleaner going by the sounds of it. But anyway, that's the view from the back of the house towards Laguna, Kalamaki. Absolutely glorious sunshine, looking like an absolutely beautiful day. Looking towards Sillavi, again, looking nice, looking a lot brighter this side of the house than that side of the house on the old tablet. But anyway, it's looking good. So let's crack on with the news, because as I've said, there's been a lot going on in the last 24 hours here in Greece, and some of it interesting news, some of it sad news, and also some of it shocking as well. All right, that was Nelly there, you just quickly saw. Right, let's have a quick look at what's been going on in the last 24 hours here in Zakynthos today. Remind you the date, 7th of May, 2021. It's Friday. Can you believe it's a weekend already? It's day 184 of our lockdown. And COVID in the last 24 hours, I'm afraid, it's not looking good. The numbers are starting to rise again. Yesterday, I reported 2,093 cases. Well, today, it's 3,421 new infections recorded across Greece in the last 24 hours. Anyway, that brings the total now since the pandemic started to 355,445 since the pandemic started. Entries into the country from ports, that number is up, unfortunately. Yesterday, I reported to you it was 6. Today, it was 9 new entries reported at various checks made at borders into the country. Now, according to the national stats yesterday, there was 1 new case in Macardo. There were 6 new cases in Catalonia. Believe it or not, Corfu yesterday had 43 new cases of COVID-19 reported, which I think is the highest number I've seen for Corfu since I've been keeping records on what's happening in the rest of the Ionian. And Zakynthos at the moment, there's only been 2 cases of COVID reported in Zakynthos. At the moment, there is no locally recorded cases at the moment. So basically what I've done is I've added those 2 nationally to the number that I have. So for this month alone in May, we've had 8 cases of coronavirus here on Zakynthos. And since the pandemic started, we have had 531 positive cases here in Zakynthos since the beginning of the year. As for deaths at the moment, deaths, thankfully, they are actually down. Yesterday, I reported to you 96 deaths. Today, I can report there's 83 new deaths across the country. Again, all those people were either over the age of 70 or had underlying health conditions. and 96.4% of those people fell into that category. And once again, our condolences to people that have lost family members at this time. Anyway, as for incubated cases, critical cases in hospital at the moment, they've actually gone down. Yesterday, I reported 765. Today, I can report for you 754, of which 452 are male and 302 are female. So at least that number is down. Remember that the magic number on that is 900. That's the amount of beds they have here in Greece to be able to treat people in incubated state. As for today's news, then, this is getting very interesting at the moment. The Greek health authorities said on Wednesday they aim to vaccinate all adults against COVID-19 with at least one dose by early July. The health minister, Vaccinate, said the target is for all adults to be able to find vaccines and to be vaccinated by the end of June to early July. He told the regular press briefing on the pandemic, expressing his confidence in the accelerating pace of the unfolding national vaccination program. He said, as long as there is no delays in delivering the jabs, the vaccination will go ahead. Basically, at the moment, there's been a bit of a bum fight between the EU and also between Greece over supplies. This has been happening right across Europe at the moment, where the EU insisted on taking control and basically administering the delivery of the vaccines to various EU state nations. And obviously Greece has had to play the game, basically because it still wants to be able to get money to bolster itself when this pandemic thing finally starts to fade. Anyway, he also said with over 100,000 inoculations reached on Wednesday alone, the minister said that some 2.3 million vaccine doses are expected to be administered in the month of May, thus surpassing the 5 million mark at the end of the month. Also, as well, just to remind you, yesterday Jane went for a vaccine jab. Yesterday we went down into town, ran very nicely, very smoothly, and there was quite a few people there in the afternoon being vaccinated. Not sure exactly what she got in the way of the vaccination, but anyway, she's had the first dose and she'll go back in about 3 weeks' time for the second dose. Anyway, but despite the apparent improvement in the country's epidemiology profile, the currently rolling average of newly daily infections stands at 1,776, with 20,000 active infections nationally. These are the numbers that the government is saying at the moment. The average age of new infections at the moment stands at 43 here in Greece, with a positivity rate at 4.6%. The government plans to unveil the specifics of a public health plan for the Greek islands in the next coming days. So there's more to come from the Greeks government as to the way that they're going to start to vaccinate islands. They had said that they were going to vaccinate the whole of islands, all age groups under a certain amount. A population, I think, of up to 10,000, the whole of the island would be vaccinated, despite whatever age you were. Interestingly as well, more information that's been printed in the Greek press at the moment, preliminary results from clinical trials by Moderna in the USA aimed at assessing the efficiency of their vaccine in the 12 to 17-year-old age group has confirmed that it gives 96% protection against COVID-19 virus without resulting in any serious side effects. So already now, pharmaceutical companies now are looking at vaccinating young people and children. So again, this is also another interesting demographic now, which looks like are now in line for vaccination as well. Anyway, some good news at the moment, reference TUI. This came last night to great excitement for certain areas of Greece. But anyway, I'm going to concentrate on Zakynthos. It seems that TUI Belgium announced the launch of flights from mid-May to Corfu and Zakynthos as well. Now, for us, we're going to see flights from Brussels starting on May the 14th, and there'll be one flight every Friday. And then from May the 18th, there'll be one flight every Tuesday. And then there will be other flights that are still yet to be announced. So basically from May the 14th, when the first day of the Greek tourist season officially starts, we should start seeing the Belgians arrive here in Zakynthos. So again, we'll keep an eye on that. Also, as well, interestingly, some other facts and figures have come in, which I thought would be of great interest, is basically about what happened in the way of arrivals to the island during the Easter period. Now, it seems that a total of 2,781 people disembarked at the port of Zakynthos on Holy Monday, then disembarked from Holy Monday until Holy Saturday. So they were here from the Monday through till the Saturday. And this number confirms the minimal existing amount of numbers of people coming to the island since they started keeping records. And to be honest, a lot of people are saying 2,781. I thought no one was supposed to be coming, unless, of course, it was for health reasons, it was for work reasons, or it was for reunion of families on a one allowed reunion. Well, yes, 2,781 people did come. Although interregional travel has not yet been allowed, and this would have been an interregional travel, a lot of these people who came had come with the prospect of staying for the summer. So they'd come basically to say, we're here for the summer. Some of those would have been workers coming back to work in hotels or to work whatever job it is that they do during the summer. But it was interesting that on Easter Monday, 330 people in 105 cars left Zakynthos. And then on Tuesday, another 155 people in 48 cars then obviously left Zakynthos. Now, it's interesting when you look at the amount of people that were coming to the islands in the past. You might think 2,400 is quite a number. But when you think that in 2015, there were 10,901 people that came to Zakynthos over the Easter period. And then in 2016, there were 16,127 people that would come to the islands during the period of Easter. And then in 2017, there was 13,796 people came. You can see that that is a significant drop in the amount of people that have come back to the island over the Easter period. So in some ways you can actually say, yeah, some people did play the game. There probably was a few cheeky arrivals secreted in there, and it was all about the checking of them at the port at Kalini, the checking of them at the port actually as they left, and also the checks that were given as they left Athens. So they managed to get past that first check, the second check, the third check, to actually make it here to Zakynthos. So again, that is quite interesting in itself. Right. Also as well, there has been significant developments have been taking place with the historical public library here in Zakynthos. The MP for the island, Mr. Dionys Akapis, has said that it looks like soon the library will be open. And he's had a series of meetings with the Minister of Education, the Greek Minister of Education, also the Deputy Minister of Education, and he's managed now to secure finance to pay for staff, which is fantastic. So now they have a proper paid library staff who are going to work there. He's also been able as well to secure funding for the repair to the building. The building was damaged in 2006 due to the earthquake, and obviously a refitting of the library itself inside with new style library equipment, displays, stands, etc. So overall, it looks like the process of reopening the public library here in Greece is getting closer and closer. It's a lovely little area. It's well worth a look next time you come and visit. If you're wondering where it's located in between the cinema in Solomos Square and Coquina Greco, the little what do you call it? The little restaurant on the other side of it. It's sort of sit wedged between the two. It's well worth having a quick look. Anyway, the goal is now that they're going to have the doors open of that soon. The MP also like to thank Mr. Philippos, or Mr. Senatos as well. He's also known as. Because he is the driving force behind getting the library open and recognised. And it is actually, believe it or not, it is one of the it is rated to be the oldest public library in modern Greece at the moment. So it's quite an achievement. Plus, as well, a lot of works for the poet of Zakynthos, Solomos. His poetry is obviously stored there as well. And obviously one of the jobs is for them to keep that safe as well, and keep that for posterity. Also, interestingly as well, there was a strike yesterday. There was a rally that took place as well, and that took place in Solomon Square. And it was, they said, to celebrate Labour Day. Various unions were there as well to actually basically protest a new bill that the Greek government is trying to put through. And doing some research on that bill this morning, because the local press didn't actually put any information about this bill in, which I think is a bit poor. Some people like myself like to know. I think sometimes with Greek news, they just assume that people know anyway. Unlike British news, where they literally lead you by the hand, they tend to repeat stuff. But sometimes if you're picking something up for the first time and reading about it, most of the general information is there for you to understand what the issue is there. But anyway, listen out for this in future, especially workers here in Zakynthos. And this, you can understand why the unions are quite powerful still here in Greece, and you can understand why they're trying to break unions in a lot of ways. Because again, and I remember having this discussion with union people here about the last bit of power that the unions have is the power to strike, and also if strikes are handled correctly, it can obviously bring about a result. But anyway, the Hatzitakis bill, which they're now trying to push through, the Greek government, basically the Greek government wants to scrap the 8-hour working day and establish a 10-hour day with unpaid overtime. Combined with individual labour contracts, so that workers are fully weakened and forced to accept the employer's conditions under the threat of the sack. Anyway, yesterday in Solomon Square, there was a protest, a rally there. Social distancing was observed. People were there with masks on, with their children, with their banners, and banners such as no to the working Middle Ages, obviously a reflection on they're going back to serfdom of the Middle Ages, and also hands down from 8 o'clock. What they meant by that is we should stop work at 8 o'clock after 8 hours of work. Unions were also there as well to lend strength to those people that were gathered there. So keep a lookout for this Hakiatis bill, where basically they're scrapping the 8-hour week. The 8-hour working day, and trying to increase that to 10, and obviously with no extra pay for those extra 2 hours, which again is not right. At the moment, Greece, I don't think, has had the experience of the 0 hours contract yet, which, trust me, if you're going to start dealing with the likes of Amazon and other companies like that, the 0 hours contract is going to arrive. And if anything, the worst thing ever that corporations were allowed to do was to introduce the 0 hours working contract. I am not a fan of that in one iota. If you have a job should be a real job with proper working conditions for employees, proper paid hours that you can legitimize, and not this hanging on the end of the phone waiting to see whether your services are required, yes or no. All right. Again, I was listening to some people talking about working in 0 hours contracts for the likes of Amazon, and the fact that you could work for a company like Amazon for 10 years on a 0 hours contract, and technically you don't work for Amazon. You're working for yourself. You're technically unemployed because basically you work as and when required. And again, some of those practices, Greece is still yet to see them hit here, and the ramifications when they do, I think, are going to be mind-boggling. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of corporations have not come to Greece to do work, because they've got to sort out the unions first. So obviously, the government is obviously, with this Hatziatis Act, trying to kind of surreptitiously condition the arrival of the 0 hours contract. Now, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I am. But in my mind, this is me surmising, I think this is the idea behind it. But anyway, again, we'll keep an eye on that and we'll see what happens. Another distressing story came out yesterday. A 47-year-old man who was arrested this week in Strapoli in Thessaloniki on charges of raping his underage stepdaughter repeatedly over a 2-year period was remanded in custody on Thursday pending a trial. Now, according to the prosecutor, he appeared before him. The man denied the accusation regarding the claim filed by the plaintiff's lawyer that he texted erotic messages to the woman. He claimed that the girl, now 18, took his device and wrote them herself and then sent them to her on his own mobile in order to incriminate him. Anyway, in her complaint, the 18-year-old said that her stepfather sexually abused her without her consent at least since 2019, and that he had also tried to do so again on Easter Sunday. Anyway, according to the same complaint, the mother did not have any knowledge of the situation. So once again, if you find yourself in that situation of either domestic or sexual violence, just remind you there is a helpline here in Greece. You can either call the police directly on 100, and police now are trained in to deal with these issues, or you can call a dedicated helpline, which is 1440. There are specially trained staff there that can listen to you, help you, and not only will they listen to you in Greek, if you speak Greek, obviously, but if you don't speak Greek or don't speak Greek very well, and English is much more of a comfortable language for you to talk in, then obviously there are counsellors there who can speak to you in English. So once again, that number, if you find yourself in that situation, is 1440. And finally, just going back to the Hatziatis bill that seems to be surreptitiously going through the Parliament at the moment. Interestingly, Eurostat released figures yesterday about working practices in Europe. And it seems that Greeks spend more time at work than most of their fellow Europeans, while the country that does the least amount of work, believe it or not, or spends least time at work, are the Dutch. All right. Now, according to the 2020 data published by Eurostat, Greeks were working on average the hardest in Europe. They were putting in on average about 41.8 hours a week, and the EU average is around about 37 hours a week, while the Dutch, believe it or not, who are hopefully coming on their holidays at the moment, were doing around about 30 hours, 30.3 hours a week, all right, in the way of working hours in their employment. Now, one thing we've got to say, there's a difference between being at work for a lot of hours, all right, to being productive at work for less hours. So the quicker you get the job done, the quicker you get home. There is a kind of a balance that comes in there. But what does annoy me is there was this thing during the financial crisis of 2008, which said, oh, the Greeks are lazy, the Greeks are down the beach, the Greeks do this, and the Greeks... And to be honest, in my experience, the Greeks are hard-working people. Albanians are also, who many of them here in Greece, are also very hard-working people as well. And the blanket brush dubbing of the Greeks being lazy, etc., that really annoyed everybody at that time. It still annoys us now. I know many people who during the summer are doing 2 jobs, some of them even doing 3 jobs, basically to earn enough money to be able to survive the winter. So again, it's interesting that with the Hadriagis bill at the moment that's going through the Greek Parliament, that, you know, they want to put the working hours up. Most people, to be honest, during the summer season are working at least 12 hours a day. And when you sit and work out what they earn as a daily rate, and were to break that down over the hours that they do over a 12-hour day, you'd be surprised to see some people are working for less than €3 an hour during the summer. And I know that is a big bone of contention for a lot of people here. Some people accept it and understand it. Some people realise that at the moment, wages are probably going to go down for a lot of people simply because businesses are trying to recover through what's happened with the season, with the lockdown and everything else. So again, I think there's some more interesting stories to come out from there as well. Right, so that's it for the news today. Hope you found that interesting. Let's have a quick look, see who's tuning in. Dave Matthews is watching. Nice to have you, fella. How did the fishing go? Maria Hadelberg in Sweden is tuning in. Pam Stott is also tuning in as well. Ian Daly is also tuning in as well. Nice to have you tuning in, Ian. Dave Matthews says, good morning. He's sat waiting for the second jab at Oxford Football Club. Oh, hey! Yeah, what's it, Oxford Football Club? I remember them years ago when they did quite well in I think the FA Cup one time. I'm going back to the 1970s there. But anyway, nice to see there, Dave, doing all right. Julie Meldrum is also watching as well. Emma Marku is watching. Susie Angus is watching over there in Birmingham. Nice to have you tuning in. Oh, fantastic. Good morning, Ginge. She said, this is Amanda Gregory now with the weather forecast. Good morning, Ginge. Sunny with some cloud. Temperature starting to rise. A high of 24 degrees. Will feel like 28. There's amber warnings for wind over the weekend. Have a good day. I thought we might get a bit of a wind at some point if it's not me talking. But anyway, thank you for that. I greatly appreciate that, Amanda. Alan Paul up there at JP's. Is it JP's? I'm trying to remember. He's got a bar up in Laguna. I bet he must be open now. Anyway, he's tuning in. Nice to have you tuning in, Alan. I'll give you a quick wave back. Catherine Ling, also here on Zakynthos, is tuning in as well. Amanda Gregory, I'll give you a wave back as well. Delia Gazzetti is also tuning in as well. Nice to have you looking in. Wendy Norcliffe is also tuning in from the mainland over there on Greece. Steve Hinckley says, Gallimera, hope Jane is feeling no side effects. To be honest, no side effects at all. It was all rather pleasant actually yesterday afternoon. We were sat outside, you know, Jane was waiting her turn. Pretty good spirit of people outside. Service run very efficiently, I've got to be honest. The people were very nice. The only thing is you've got to wait 15 minutes after the jab, make sure you don't have any allergic reaction, and then that's it, you can go home. So all in all, yeah, she did all right. And I am at the moment, I'm still hanging out. I'm still waiting to see what transpires. If I have to have it, I'll only have it because I'm blackmailed into having it, all right? Anyway, Amanda Gregory says, how's Jane feeling after her jab? Hope all is good. Yeah, Jane is fantastic. Christine Coldwell over there in Leighton Bud is tuning in as well. Nice to have you checking in, my lovely. Jan Lawrence is also watching as well. Nice to see you tuning in. Shane Bowen up there on Exmoor tuning in as well. Gallimera Ginge from a very sunny Exmoor. Looking forward to your shows later. Have a great day. Yep, just to remind you, don't forget, busy day for me broadcasting. First of all, 3 o'clock your time in the UK, which is 5 o'clock my time here. I do my Requests and Inspiration show. The other show from Wednesday's already charted in the Mixcloud chart. I think it's in the reggae chart at around about 68 at the moment. So I'm really chuffed about that. Anyway, that will go out at this afternoon at 3 o'clock your time in the UK. And then don't forget later on tonight on beatsradio.co.uk, my dance anthem show, that will be broadcast from 7 o'clock UK time till 9 o'clock, 2-hour dance anthem show, some of the best in dance music. I really do enjoy that show, and that show's been doing extraordinarily well in the Mixcloud charts, in the trance chart, the techno house chart, and in the dance chart and the pop chart as well. So join in for that. I will be lurking in the chat room when that broadcast is going out, because it is pre-recorded, because it's a more reliable way of getting the show to you. And then don't forget Sunday, the Northern Soul Show, which is doing phenomenally well. And I've got some interesting little bits in the Northern Soul Show this week from Northern Soul fans talking about their experiences of Northern Soul, which again, I'm looking forward to seeing how that is received on Sunday. Anyway, Bob Cave says, morning, Ginge, beautiful day here in Oxfordshire. I'm surprised you're not fishing today, Bob. Barbara Telfer is also tuning in. Give you a wave as well, my lovely. Phil Ellis, Raffridge Buddy tuning in. Margaret Miller's tuning in as well. Vicky Wood is also tuning in. Nice to see you there, Vicky. Graham Blint is also watching in from Australia. How you doing, bud? How's it over there? What time is it there at the moment? Anyway, nice to have you tuning in, Graham. Jill Podson is also tuning in as well. Steve Hodgson, first line responder up there in Durham. He's a fireman, actually. How you doing, fella? I hope all is good for you. Alan Woodhouse is also tuning in. Gary Crowder is also watching as well. Nice. Looking forward to see what your musical choices might be today. I've already been given a load of requests by Sam, and some of it very eclectic. That's all I'm going to say, but I'm not going to spoil the surprise. I'll let you see that this afternoon. Heather Harvey Green is also tuning in. I hope you had a great birthday the other day, my lovely. Nice to see you looking in. Maria Hadelberg says, morning, spring is back at least for today. Have a lovely Friday. So I think the snow is cleared a bit in Sweden at the moment from the sounds of that. Hilary Rogers is also watching as well. Nice to have you looking in. Steve Hinkling is also obviously tuning in. Saul Sudworth is also tuning in as well. Nice to have you looking in. Hang on a minute. Jill Podson says, good morning, Ginge. I had my second jab yesterday. I got a sore arm, but that's all. I'll be listening to Boris this afternoon. If it's good news, I'll be there in 2 weeks. Well, I will look forward to seeing you. Once again, we've got two sets of news expected today. First of all, we're expecting more news from the Greek side from Mr. Mitsotakis as to the way ahead with tourism over the next few days. We know that the opening of beach bars is going to be allowed, and so the one thing I want to hear is the ban of the lifting of music in bars. That's got to stop. Music is needed in the bars. If it's not allowed, I won't be working. That's the bottom line of it. So maybe this is the government's way to silence me, is to basically ban music in bars. But that's a bit extreme when you take in consideration the rest of the country. But again, that's what's important to me at the moment. And also the social distancing rules there's a lot of detail which is still yet to be finalised. The other thing as well is about vaccination of staff. Testing of staff as well to do with tourism. I think there's more to come on our side as to how things will run once we open again on the 15th. Now, interestingly, obviously, we're waiting for Boris to make his announcement as well as to see where Greece is. Everywhere you look, and I'll be 100% agreement with people, nobody knows until it is said. At the moment, we've heard Greece is definitely going to be on it. We've heard that only Gibraltar and Malta is going to be on it, and Israel is going to be on this list of greens. The rest of Europe is all going to be in amber. Now, since yesterday, when the French fishermen blockaded Jersey and Boris sent out the Royal Navy to clear them off and they all ran away back to France, let's just hope that Boris gets some common sense and says, right, let's put Greece on the green, because Greece at the moment, we've been hosting the Red Arrows flying over here, so you can do your training for the summer season. We are an ally, supposedly, of Greece. All right, there's been a lot of saber rattling going on in the Western Mediterranean. And again, letting the British tourist over here is going to help our economy. It's going to help the tourism industry in the UK at the moment. Think of all your little high street TUI shops and people that do your holiday bookings as well as your online stuff. We want to get the Brits back. We need the Brits back. Yes, we can have the Israelis, we can have the Belgians, we can have the Germans, we can have the Italians, but they don't do the business that the British do. And we need to sit and wait to see what the result is. And at the moment, Boris, it looks like from the local elections, you've done all right. You're hanging on, mate. You're hanging on. But then again, where's the opposition? There is no opposition to what's going on. And I think Labour at the moment are just dead in the water at the moment. And Keir Starmer has just been a mega disappointment in everything and just basically rubber stamped everything that Boris has said and not questioned it. Shut down industries, shut down business, shut down employment. And just basically gone with the fear, gone with the hype. Anyway, we'll wait and see. Lisa Goodall is watching as well. Hillary says, good morning, Ginge. I had my second jab today. I've got a sore arm, but I'll be listening to you. And Boris, oh, bless you. Same message, bless you. Hillary Rogers, which vaccine, Jill? Oh, they're having a chat. All right, okay. Steve Hodgson says, looks like Zakynthos is going on the amber list. Hope I'm wrong. I hope you're wrong as well. We don't want to be on amber because what that means if we're on amber, you come here, you do your holiday, you've got 10 days quarantine when you get home. We don't want that. We are safe. Just remind people, and I keep saying this, Greece has been green in Europe all the way through. Lowest rate of infection, lowest rate of deaths. Mitsotakis decided himself to put the country into red as some kind of a sort of reinforcement of keeping the numbers down. I don't believe that has worked at all because people are looking at Greece being dangerous because, oh, you're in the red. No, we're only in the red locally. But across Europe, we are green. And that message is not getting out and that message is not getting heard. We are green in the eyes of everywhere else in Europe. It's only Mitsotakis who decided to be real thumb on the heads of the people by saying, we've had a bit of a spike. Now we're putting Zakynthos into deep red, and we've only gone from deep red to light red within the last couple of weeks. And other islands have been locked down, like on Monday, I can't remember the name of the island, but one of the Aegean islands got locked down into deep red because it had a rise of infection in their area. But the reality is Greece is actually in the green as far as Europe is concerned as a safe place to come. If Boris puts us in amber, that's his decision. That's his choice. Nothing to do with the map. See, there's that many bloody maps going around. It's whichever map you're looking at. And I can already see somebody saying, looks like somebody saying morning. I'll get down to that. But anyway, let me just quickly flick through. We are actually in the green. So let's just remind people of that. Greece is in the green at the moment. We'll wait and see. Even the Foreign Office took us into a place, and even the way the Foreign Office worded their statement to say that advising of not to travel has been lifted. Why don't you just put it in plain bloody English? Yes, we feel that you can go to Zakynthos, you can go to Corfu, you can go to Kefalonia. Don't try and wiggly word it where people are questioning, are they saying we can go or can we not go? It should be simple, straightforward, 100%. The Foreign Office recommends you do not travel to so-and-so. The Foreign Office recommends, yes, you can travel to so-and-so. Put it in words of that nature rather than that mealy-mouthed lingo that the Foreign Office seems to love, the voice of diplomacy, which sometimes wonders, are they saying yes or are they saying no? Or are they just saying, well, maybe? You know, it just, again, it's one of them infuriating things. You want clarity and you can't find it, and then you've got to start digging for it. Anyway, Dave Matthews says, all juice is now waiting 15 minutes, then home. Oh, you get juice when you're there. Somebody was telling me yesterday, if you go for the vaccination, I think Serbia were paying people €20 to go and have a vaccination jab. And I think in Germany, they were giving people free beer for going and having the vaccination. There was reports of people trying to go around a second and a third time to get a third or fourth pint, but I'm not sure if that was true or not. But yeah, some countries have been bribing their people with money and beer to go for vaccinations. But that's another story. Anyway, Chrissy Rildon is watching. Chick Ballantyne is watching. Patsy Ann Dobson is watching. Says, good morning from a sunny Margate. Hope all is well. Yeah, it's a lovely day today. Andrew the Fridge Watkins. Paul Bruff up there in the Peloponnese. He's also tuning in as well. Nice to have you looking in, fella. Heather Harvey Green as well. Rosewood. Andrew the Fridge Watkins says, I've had both jabs. No side effects at all. No, bless you. Good man. Pat Patel, ex-boss, tuning in. How you doing, Pat? Nice to have you looking in, fella. Also as well, Dave Matthews says, morning, Pat. Oh, they're talking to each other. Bless them. Mike Glatley is here on the island. I'll give you a wave. He's tuning in at the moment. Gav Kitchen, Raffred's tuning in. Vicky Lowe also watching as well. Jeanette Cooney is watching too. Dave Lowry's watching. Jerry Coyle. And Gail Marsden, she says, I hope he is wrong about Amber. We won't be able to come. Balance due next week. And of course, you're obviously paying for your holiday. And obviously, you've got to pay that before you come over. And we know people have had holidays cancelled. That's one thing that's been talked about. But anyway, this afternoon, we wait for Boris's announcement. We'll see what Boris has to say, whether we are going to be in the amber or whether we are going to be in green. And fingers crossed, we are going to be green so that you can come here, have a holiday, go home and not spend 10 days in quarantine, because this is where we were this time last year. If you remember, this time last year, again, there was the and ahhing about holidays abroad and everything else. And then we eventually got a decision that Britain would be allowed to travel in July and come abroad. And Greece was not allowed travel there at the time. And we were waiting for a decision as to whether quarantine would be lifted for people coming on holiday and then going back. And that didn't happen until later in the month, the 14th. But that was basically because Mitsotakis on this side was erring on caution because the infection rates have been so high in the UK. But again, we still wanted Boris to lift the 14 days quarantine for people coming here to going back. And luckily, that all got sorted, that all got lifted, but we don't want to start the tourist season in July again this year. So hopefully we'll wait and see what happens. Anyway, listen, I've got to go because I've been rambling on too long now. Once again, join me this afternoon, 3 o'clock your time in the UK or whatever time it is, GMT to 3 o'clock, wherever you are in the world. I'll be broadcasting, requesting inspirations. If you've got any tunes you want to hear this afternoon, get them jotted down in the comments below. Also, as well, don't forget, I'm also broadcasting later on tonight as well on beatsradio.co.uk with the Dance Anthem show. And again, I'll be hovering in the chat room there. You can come and speak to me. Right, got to go. Our weekly pilgrimage today to Lidl, do the shopping. That's our day out, that is, Jane and I, after yesterday's little trip into town for the vaccination for Jane. But I'll keep my ear to the ground. Any more information, I'll give it to you as well. Anyway, you take care, have a great day, and catch you later. Ta-ra.